But Stanley Kroenke, the evil of Arsenal, has actually done something good for a change. And listen, a lot of people have been duped over the last 10 years or so into thinking that the stadium was paid off, which it wasn't. For anybody who does know or didn't know or whatever, the stadium was on a 25-year mortgage. There was bonds and stuff like that involved in it as well. So the repayments were going to multiple sources, to Barclays Bank, to bonds and stuff like that, investors, etc., etc. So obviously, every single year we have to pay that constantly until 2031. And do you know what? Over the last 10 years, 15 years or so, so many people have been duped into thinking that the stadium is paid, to the point where even Gary Neville sat on Sky Sports once on a Super Sunday, I think it was, saying, well, yeah, Arsenal have struggled and they've had to sell their best players because they've had to pay the stadium off. The stadium was never paid off. The stadium isn't paid off until 2031. The interest rates are quite high in comparison to Tottenham Stadium, for example. I think our interest rates on that stadium debt were 5.9%, whereas if you go and have a look at Tottenham Stadium debt interest rates, I think it's about 1.9 or 2.9%. So their interest rate is a lot lower. So a lot of people sat there over the last year, 18 months, 2 years, when Tottenham have been building their stadium, laughing, saying, oh, but they've landed themselves £1 billion worth of debt. Well, Tottenham's total payments back on that stadium are going to be not far away from, are not going to be far away from what theirs would be over the full length of theirs. Now, Stan Kroenke, I'm going to share my screen in a minute. Let me just find the one I wanted to read and split the screen with you. Stan Kroenke has basically come in and wiped the whole lot. And now we owe Stan, which some people are still having the ump over that. Oh, now he can do whatever he wants. Now he's the full owner. I look at it and I think that instead of paying 3, 4, 5 different sources, 3, 4, 5 different payments at the end of every year, every quarter, every whatever it may be, when does Stan want the money back? Because Stan might say, actually, do you know what? When I sell the club, that's then when I want that money back. But people will still moan about this because that's what they like to do. They just love to bash the owner constantly. And that's the one I wanted to read. Right, so let me share this. And I just look at it and I think, like, listen, this geezer's a multi-billionaire because he's very shrewd at business. He's very clever in the business and the fields that he's in. Yes, he might not know nothing about football, but he become a billionaire because he's very clever at what he does. And he's invested very well over the whatever amount of years he's been in business. Like I said, the geezer's 72 years old, and he's a multi-billionaire for a reason. Now, let me share the screen real quick, and we'll go through it piece by piece real quick. Also, later on tonight, I will be doing a press conference reaction. Mikel Arteta did a press conference in the lead up to the Tottenham game this weekend, the Sunday game. There they are, look, the evil duo. The evil duo. Thank you to the latest member of the channel as well. Big up yourself, Mikey. Thank you very much for that. If you want to become a member, feel free. We're doing well all right on the memberships at the moment. There's a lot of you signed up to them. So thank you very much. Welcome to the family, baby. And I'll come back to some of these comments and questions in a minute. I fully forgot to go live on HOTMIC as well. I'm having a mare today, man, seriously. So we'll go live on HOTMIC. There we go. So now you can you can talk on that. This is what happens when you rush. Yeah. Rushing around like an absolute twat. But I am now live on HOTMIC. So anybody who's on that platform, wants to go on that platform, use the link and yeah, join in. But Stan Kroenke, here we go. Basically, what am I doing here, man? I'm having a fucking disaster here. There we go. So Stan Kroenke has decided to throw all the money in to clear these debts off, which means we don't owe anyone any money for the stadium. We don't owe anyone any money for the bonds. We owe Stan Kroenke the money. Now, it allows the sum to be paid off. But basically, Stan Kroenke, it's actually not Stan Kroenke, it's KSE that have done this. So yes, Stan Kroenke owns KSE, but it's Kroenke Sports and Entertainment. So it's the Kroenke family have provided Arsenal with a loan that allows them to pay off the remaining sum before they were due. They reckoned on football.london it was 2029. We can split hairs over that. I thought it was 2031. But basically what this means is that the loans that were outstanding on it are no longer outstanding on it. It means that we owe Stan Kroenke the money. And like I said, a lot of people are going to have the ump with that. A lot of people are going to be sitting there saying, oh yeah, but now he can take money out of the club. It's his football club. Whether we like it or not, it is his football club. Yeah, it's not our football club. It's his football club. He owns the football club. Whether we like that or not, we owe Stan Kroenke whatever the outstanding loan payments were. I think it was around about total debt on that stadium is around about 160 million quid, something like that. Not only that, we also had 36.8 million in debt service reserve accounts, which means that the money we had sat in reserve, this is completely different, this 36.8 million. That's nothing to do with the reserves. This is a total separate reserve account, which was holding the money, and we had to have that amount in the account. That's been sat there for a very long time. And that was part of the terms and conditions of the original loan. So if we did miss a few payments, then obviously we've got that in reserve. So for example, times like now, where we've gone through the whole corona, we've gone through no income in terms of match day revenue for the remaining home games, which by the way, for Arsenal isn't actually that bad, because I think it's only 4 home games we had from when we come back to the end of the season. So if you add that up, it's probably the equivalent to what, let's say 4 million quid, which in the grand scheme of things for a club with the amount of money coming into the club that Arsenal have, £4 million is not a massive amount of money to Arsenal Football Club. But Stan Kroenke has now injected that money in, which means we can now go and clear all of these off, which means that the money we do have sat around, we can now use as our own under the financial fair play. That was going to be quashed a little bit this summer anyway. But the money that we've got in the bank, we can essentially go and use that now to go and buy players this summer. Whether we do go out there and spend 100 million, 200 million, whatever it may be, remains to be seen. But we don't know what our transfer budget was anyway. Yeah, we just read what we see in the media and stuff like that. We go off of, oh, Penny Pinch in Arsenal. There he is. He looks well happy, doesn't he? Bless him. I'm not going to laugh too much because we're playing them on Sunday. We obviously, I'm just going to read the rest of this real quick. February saw Arsenal announce their first operating loss since 2012. Since 2002, with a 12-month through to May 2019, where we lost £27 million. Since then, the coronavirus has placed further pressure on the club's finances. Arsenal Supporters Trust forecasting that losses could reach 144 million if the whole season is played behind closed doors next season. Now, like I said, you could look at this two ways. Whether if that will happen and Arsenal will play behind closed doors, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that fans will be allowed back into the stadium. I don't think they'll be allowed back in for the start of the season. I do think by Christmas time, maybe everything could be kind of normal again. But obviously KSE have put the loan in to the club, which means that we are then going to be able to go and spend money this summer. But at the same time, you'd like to think as a football fan looking in from the outside, like me, you and everyone else watching this video, you'd like to think that Stan Kroenke's interest rates are going to be a lot less than the interest rates that we were paying on the initial debt in the first place. I personally would go with Stan Kroenke's put that money in via KSE. They've put that money in with a view of not taking it out every year. That's how I'm looking at it. Maybe I'm being very naive with that. I don't know. But I'm thinking that when he eventually sells the football club, which I think he will at some point, I said this many times, he didn't buy this club for us to smash it in the league. If we do, then great. That's how he's seeing it. He bought it because he, in his mind, has looked further down the road with a 20-year plan and said, well, Arsenal could be in a European Super League here. And if we get into that European Super League, off of the coefficient, off of whatever it may be, then that's massive, massive money. Yeah, and I think if we did that, that is when he will sell the club. I'm personally being maybe a little bit naive with the fact that he's loaned us the money to clear the debt with a view of getting it back towards the end when he sells the club. Whether he takes money out of the club every year or not is kind of irrelevant now, because he's only took £6 million out since he's been a shareholder of this football club, or majority shareholder of this football club, for advisory fees. £6 million over whatever the amount of years it is, 7 years, 8 years since he's been majority shareholder and now obviously owner. If you add up £6 million, that equates to 4 months of Mesut Ozil's wages. So, people do love to jump on a bandwagon with this guy. I like to look at it objectively. Yes, he's not the owner that I want. Yes, I'd rather have somebody who can actually give a toss. But at the same time, he hardly takes any money out of the club. He's probably got a bank loan for this from America to then give the club the money, or he's just taking it out of his money, his assets, whatever. I don't think he has. I think he's probably gone and got a bank loan to then pay it into Arsenal, which most businesses will do that. So there'll be people out there today, tomorrow, the next day sitting there going, but now he's got a loan against the club. Well, unfortunately, that's how business works. And when you see how much the guy's got in terms of actual cash money, I guarantee he's got less than £500 million sat in his account, because billionaires don't become billionaires by having billions of pounds in their bank. They become billionaires by constantly investing in stuff and then getting a loan against that asset to then go and invest in something else, and so on and so on and so on. Hence why he's built up such a big portfolio of sports franchises. But whether he has to pay that loan back to where he's got it from, i.e. the bank, whether he has to pay that back over X amount of years, whether he's done a deal with them to pay it back when he cashes in on one of his assets, I don't know. What I do know is that we're kind of debt free now, aren't we? Yes, we still owe the guy money now, but what we've done is we've moved it away from owing 3, 4, 5 people the money to owing the owner money. Now, when you look at Chelsea and compare it to Abramovich, I think, is owed about £800 million by Chelsea Football Club. So when he sells the club, he's going to try and have that in there as well. I don't believe that Abramovich has been taking money out every year to clear that debt off. So I just look at it and I think this is really good news for Arsenal, really good news. And it's something that's needed to be done for a long time. Just consolidate all of the debts that you've got, the little debts, consolidate them into one debt and just pay one person. And that one person happens to be the owner of this football club, which in the grand scheme of things is probably the best way to have it, in my opinion, because now you're not owing a bank over here. You're not owing this. You're not owing that. You're owing the owner who can decide when he wants the money. I think this is great news. And I think that it means that we can go out there and we can actually go and spend some decent money this summer. Whether we do actually go and spend some decent money or not remains to be seen. But I'll tell you the one thing, yeah, all the people that have been jumping all over Stan Kroenke for a long, long time, if they're not happy with this, then I'd be baffled. And I just see it as you just love to moan, because there's no way you shouldn't be happy about this. Yeah, is put the money into the club to clear the debt, and then we owe him. What's bad about that? Like I said at the very start of the show, there will be people moaning about it. I'd imagine there's less interest on this, paying him back, than there is paying all the people we were due to pay over here. So I'd imagine there's less interest, or whether he just don't take any interest. I'd imagine he will take interest. He's a businessman. Of course he would. I'll loan you this. I want X amount back. That's standard procedure. But I do think that, when I look at this, I just think going forward into the summer transfer window, this is only going to be a good thing. Yeah, because we can now literally go and spend what we want. Because as a club, as a business, we're debt free essentially. Yeah, people are saying, people were saying that, oh, well, Arsenal have got no debts. They, you know, self-sufficiency don't work, this and that. Arsenal have always had this debt since they moved into that stadium. And that debt is a lot of debt. It's £20 million a year over 25 years. That's a lot of money. Yeah, just because it's split over 25 years doesn't make it any less of a total debt. It's still 475 million quid of debt we had. So I just think that it's great news. People are going to moan either way. And hopefully this summer we can go and buy Thomas Partey and a few others, which would be lovely jubbly. And hopefully we can rise up the table. Maybe, just maybe, if he had done this a few years earlier, we might already be at the top of the table. But it's took a coronavirus, a global pandemic, for him to actually sit there and go, yeah, I'm going to do that. Maybe he's been thinking about it before. Who knows? Maybe it was something in the pipeline and this has sped up his thought process on it. I don't know. All I do know is I think it's fantastic news for the football club. And it's about time we had some real positivity in terms of the owner and the football club, because all we've seen over the last X amount of years is absolute crap from the hierarchy at this football club. Obviously, Chip Keswick, he's no longer here as chairman. Stan's put money in. Martinelli signed. Saka's signed. We're not doing too bad in terms of results. Now, this might actually free up more money to pay Aubameyang. You know, here you go. We'll give you an extra bit of cash because now we've freed up a bit of cash. So, I don't know, man. I just look at it and I think we'll see. This is a big, big summer for Arsenal to see what we can and can't do. And if they do go out there this summer and put their money where their mouth is, then we're in good shape going into next season. Whether we can get rid of half of the crap that's on the playing field already is probably going to be the biggest challenge of our summer. I don't think it's a massive challenge going to buy players. Depends what level and caliber of player you want. It's getting rid of this crap that we have. Yeah, I see a stat yesterday that we've got the most yellow cards out of any team in the league, 73 this season, and we've had the most red cards in the league, 5. Yeah, that sends all the people into meltdown. Oh, it's an agenda. Everybody's against us. The FA hate us. No, it's because when you're playing David Luiz and Mustafi at centre back all season, when you're playing Guendouzi and Xhaka together in midfield, 4 of the biggest, weakest, defensive-minded players we have in that squad that are all calamitous at times. And I like Guendouzi, yeah, and I think Mustafi's done well this season. But all 4 of them are really bad in terms of off the ball. Yeah, that's why we're bottom of that fair play league. And that's an area in them 4 positions, in that little square, them 2 centre-backs and the 2 in front, that is where we need to improve the most. Going forward, I think we'll always score goals. But that is why we maybe now can go out there and go, right, Atletico Madrid, bang, there's your buyout clause, give us Thomas Partey. Maybe we can do that now. Maybe that was what we've been waiting for. I don't know. But we need more than just Thomas Partey this summer, that's for sure. We're going to need a lot more than that. And I'm hoping now that this good news that we've seen today, that broke last night, I think it broke while I was doing the watch-along. And big up everybody who watched that watch-along. 9,000 people have watched that, which is pretty mad considering it was a Man United Villa game. And 55 new subscribers off of that as well. So thank you very much to everyone who came and joined in on that. But yeah, we need a lot more this summer. And I'm hoping that this now frees that up. But anyway, listen, enough of me waffling. I'm going to read out some of your comments. Apologies, I went late on HOTMIC. I totally forgot to press go live on it. So there we go. And we need to make big moves this summer, says Esme. Well, has Sergio made big moves into your DMs yet, darling? Big up, Sergio. Big up, Sergio. Where's the Ozil fanboys? This is why the club wanted him to commit to a pay deduction. Well, there you go. This is very true. Just touching on that. Thank you very much for that comment. Very good comment, say. The 3 players that didn't take a pay cut all look rather stupid now, don't they? I want to know where the money's going. Well, it's none of your business where the money's going, yeah? For the good and great of Arsenal Football Club, if they're telling you this is this and this is that, and everyone else follows suit, you should do too, because in 10 years' time, when everyone sits back and remembers about the coronavirus pandemic and Arsenal Football Club, they're always going to remember, excuse me, they're always going to remember that Ozil never took a pay cut. Yeah, he could have become a hero between people that don't like him at the football club. but he didn't. And you're right. It's a good point, mate. Very good point. Mustafi's only had 1 yellow card this season. He's actually had 2, mate. But yes, he hasn't actually been a liability this season. Hi, AP. Hope you're good. Soam, welcome to Lee's commerce course. The economic crisis in the world, I'm sure Barclays are happy to take the whole amount now. Yes, I'm sure they are. Let's read some of these off of YouTube. Big up Dr. Viraj. I am very well. What does this clearing mean for the transfer budget? I don't know, man. I genuinely don't know. I don't know what the budget was or is or anything like that. But I do think that we can, listen, financial fair play has been relaxed anyway. So now it's been relaxed and we've got no debt at all. And we can spend whatever we bring in. Anyway, we bring in £400 million a year, probably more than that, probably touching £450 million in terms of income. That's before we pay anything. Well, we've just saved ourselves £20 odd million a year by not paying stadium debt. We've got £36.8 million sat in the bank that was a reserve for that stadium debt. So there's 50 million quid straight away. Then you take next year's 20 million, that's now 70. And that £20 million a year that we were paying to stadium debt every year could be used as an instalment on 1 or 2 players every year now. So I think this is great news, man. I really do. Maybe Kroenke is getting ready to sell the club. Says it's Levi, bruv. Love your photo, man. Was that the face when you see Stan Kroenke had injected money into the club, bruv? But yeah, maybe he is. Maybe he is looking to sell it. I don't know. Yes, Lee, I remember you saying we can't pay off the loan. If we paid off the loan early, there was a clause in the contract with Barclays Bank that says we will incur massive penalty fines for that. Maybe we're taking the penalty fines. I don't know. Maybe Barclays have said, we'll squash that, just give us the money. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I can't answer that, mate. I'm not privy to that information. But I do know that there's massive penalty fines for paying it off early. Same if you've got a mortgage on your house. If you've got a mortgage over 25 years and you want to pay it off inside 7 years or 10 years or 15 years, they're charging you a lot of money extra for that because you're not going full term, which means they're not getting full interest. Yeah, over the course of that, you signed an agreement to say, I will go 25 years at X amount of interest, whatever it may be. And 3 years or 5 years, then you renew it again the next year on a better interest rate. But you sign that contract, and if you don't go full term on that contract, you're getting a penalty fine, and they'll be charged for that. So yes, you are right there, mate. Whether they can pay that off in one lump remains to be seen. But big up, Mohammed. Hope you and the wifey are well, mate. No, I wouldn't take Lallana. Although saying that, we do need a T-boy at Arsenal, so maybe he could be T-boy. Have you seen the Champions League draws? Yes, I have. I haven't seen the Europa one. I've seen the Champions League. Man City are going to win that, you know. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, they will win it. They will win it. Where's that comment gone? Chris says, Lee, is it just coincidence that Saka deal was announced the day Mickey was confirmed at Roma, then Gabby a few days after that? Could we then say Aubameyang's deal is waiting for departures? Maybe so, Chris. Maybe so. The future's bright, the future's orange. Do you remember that advert? And no, the future's gold. The future's golden, bruv. The future is golden. We're back again with the golden sand. Likey or no likey, I don't care what you do, bruv. Like it, dislike it, I don't care. I'll get views on it anyway. There's nearly 900 people watching it. But yeah, Pirate King says his money's on Bayern. I think it's a Man United, Man City are 1-0 up in there, or 2-1 up, I think, against Real Madrid. I think they will turn Madrid over again as well. I think they'll beat them in both legs. But yeah, I do think Man City will win it. I do. Copenhagen got Man U. Wow. Who did Wolves get if they go through? Coco says Atletico will win it. Yeah, do a couple more minutes there, so I'm going to get out of it because I want to go and chill today, man. Date night with wifey tonight. She's just cooking up some lunch. A little bit of salmon, a little bit of avocado, some eggs. It's all going well. And we're eating good, man. We're eating good. And I'm gassed for the North London derby. Are you? Yes, I'm buzzing for that game, mate. Which reminds me, tonight, 5 p.m. UK time, I'll be dropping the press conference reaction. Mikel Arteta went through a press conference. He's gone through quite a few bits. He spoke about Jose Mourinho, which is probably going to upset our fans. I can't believe he said he's a world-class coach. But there we go. Roma or Seville for Wolves. Oh, that's tough. That is tough. Wolves are trailing Olympiacos. No, they're beating Olympiacos, mate. They beat him. No, they drew. They drew 1 apiece, I think. Any Upper Meccano news? None at all, bruv. None at all. Jose's getting ready for Arsenal. Yeah, that's why I'm keeping it zipped on Spurs, mate. And like I said yesterday on the watch along, I don't really slag other teams off. What's the point? You know, when we're shit, how can you have the audacity to slag everyone else off? Like, you know, I want better for my club. Yeah, just because Tottenham or whoever are below us, oh, let's all laugh at them. That's like getting relegated, but because they finished 20th and we finished 19th, we still laugh. That's just embarrassing, man. What annoys me is that people who like Mourinho say that Arsenal fans focus too much on the past, but Jose is finished and was good in the past, says Callum. Jose is not finished, yeah? Contrary to popular belief, my friend, Jose is not finished. Jose is not finished. And if he beats us on Sunday, a lot of people are going to have mud on their hands and egg on their face. But there we go. We shall see. What do you think about Malang Sarr rumours? He is a left-footed centre-back. Do you think we could get him? I think he's all right. I think he's a good player. And he's free. So why not? Yeah, why not? That way we can maybe get Rob Holding gone if we wanted to. We can cash in on him. We'd then have Pablo Marie. We'd have Sarr. We'd have Louise. We'd have Saliba. Is that 4 good enough? Is it better than what we've got now as a 4? Probably. Is it good enough? Probably not to win a title. No chance. To get us in top 4? Maybe. It's better than what we've got now. A lot better. So we could then get rid of Callum Chambers for 15, 20 million. Get rid of Rob Holding, 15, 20 million. That buys Thomas Partey. So I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of work to be done this summer. Josh knows. Mourinho knows our weaknesses. We shouldn't get our knickers in a twist. Exactly. Jose is not finished, says Real Life Gunner on Twitch. If you haven't downloaded or followed me on Twitch, do so. And also download HOTMIC. It's free. It's just the team he's inherited from Poch is not that great apart from their attack. Yeah, their defence isn't that all that, is it? And their attack ain't really flowing at the minute. But no doubt Sonaldo, Harold hasn't scored a goal for a long time. Guarantee he scores against us at the weekend. And I don't know, we'll see. Did you see Jose walk out the press conference review? He was acting like he could not hear the interviewer, but he responded to the question. Classic Jose. I haven't watched it. I'll go and sit by the pool in a bit, man. I'll watch his press conference, see what he's saying. When does Ozil's contract expire? 356 days, which reminds me, I need to do my update. Anyway, listen, I'm getting out of here. This is the most meaningless North London derby. Yeah, it probably is, Omar. Can't lie. But listen, I'm going to get myself out of here. I'll be back at 5 o'clock. Thank you to everyone who has watched live. Appreciate that. And 5 o'clock, press conference reaction. And it's a big one. It's a North London derby, even though no fans are allowed in, even though we're both shit and both sat way down the table. It's still a North London derby, and I'm still going to be charged right up for it at the weekend. Bring it. But there we go. Anyway, all have a wonderful day. Laters, peeps.